holders, as well as implements and religious performances.
What they are has been disputed many times, and I do veer towards the very practical explanation, and that is that it was a sort of knitting device. Because if you put yarn around the various on the data you can create a sleeve or a knitted fabric.
Still a huge amount of mystery, very peculiar objects. But one of the most popular theories is that it had a mystical function. Perhaps it was used in divination or sorcery or fortune telling. Some historians wonder whether these objects were used for forbidden rituals. This raises the question, is this part of the reason why there are no records explaining what this behavior is
Into the air. Extraordinary properties. A stone carving depicts a man holding a chalice. London, England. On a mystifying Roman artifact that is known as the Lycurgus. White.
incredible work of ancient Roman art that dates to the 4th and 5th centuries AD. It's incredible because it's part of the rare body who very carefully validated the design and very carefully executed that. Piece of glass was connected to the inner wall of the cup, which is why they're called cage cups. And the Lycurgus cup is one of these rare examples that were made and only made in very small quantities.
According to historians, the cup depicts a mythical ruler named Lycurgus, and the artifact most likely belonged to an ancient Roman nobleman who would have used the chalice to supply. But what's most remarkable about the Lycurgus cup is what happens to it when light hits the glass. The Lycurgus cup turns red.
The Lycurgus cup is made with a very special glass that's called dichroic glass. And what that means is that when light is bouncing off the outside of the glass, the color of the cup appears to be from the interior through to the exterior. The glass looks a reddish color. The Lycurgus cup is quite an intriguing artifact because it's really one of a kind. The fact that it has these very unique materials suggested it may have had some kind of ritualistic or ceremonial function, and perhaps the interplay between light and color may have added some mystery or intrigue around these rituals that took place.
How did the ancient Romans create glass with such mesmerizing optical
Tunes Mean Girls cup. It's totally fetch. Open Facetune.
Experts have discovered that the key to the Lycurgus cup's unique effect is actually invisible to the naked eye.
The secret to the optical behavior of the Lycurgus cup lies in the fact that there was nanoparticles of silver and gold embedded in the glass that changed the optical properties. This was one of the earliest, if not the earliest examples of a nano-composite material. It's possible that the Romans might have created this cup that it might have been.
Facetune's Mean Girls cup. It's totally fetch. Open Facetune. Tap.
it is also possible that they knew about this technology as particles. And this knowledge might have been employed and used in the creation of this cup.
The history of the Lycurgus cup is shrouded in mystery. The glass was created by these ancient craftspeople and has survived to this day. It's a Roman technology that has stood the test of time.
Does the Lycurgus cup prove that the Romans had a deeper understanding of science and technology than they had? It's a further evidence of ancient sophistication can be found by examining a devastating weapon of war. This name is the 10 years ago, we never would have anticipated going underground the money pit.
Overseeing a high-density anomaly below the surface of the money pit. I want to know what this thing is.
We're closer than ever before. The guard shaft. Could be the offset chamber that we seek. The curse of Oak Island. Channel. TV and the Global TV app.
Are your floors as clean as you think? Try xufr from Green Up. The heavy-duty product with a cleaning solution that traps dirt and grime, even hidden dirt you can't see. So it doesn't get pushed around. Stop cleaning, start swiffering. As soon as Caesar stuffed crust pizza is really stuffed.
Boy, this is how you stuff a crust.
Pizza for only $11.99.
As long as you and Dad are having fun.
Do you have enough food?
I'll find something.
What are you gonna do? Wait, are you texting right now?
Yeah, it's my online publisher. Alright, Mom, I gotta go. Bye.
Love you.
Okay, guys.
We're good. Freedom is what you see. Get a nationwide unlimited plan on our growing 5G network for just $34 a month when you bring your own phone.
There is a world. Starbucks for Nespresso Virtuo.
Casino experience AOJA with games and hits like Mega Wheel. Download.
You can't leave without cuddles, but you also can't leave covered in hair. With Bounce, you can cuddle and brush that hair off. Bounce. It's the sweet.
Joy over joy. Empowerment over everything. That's why we move with us.
Searching for your ideal hotel? Well, Trivago does all the work for you and instantly compares prices from hundreds of booking sites. Compare prices for the same hotel and save up to $50 a night. Hotel? Trivago. We gotta figure out what happened and why.
Bermuda Triangle into Cursed Waters. New episodes return Tuesday, January 9th on the History Channel. Stream on Stack TV and the Global TV app.
There's so much about you I don't know.
Dr. Dad. TV and the Global TV app.
Constantinople, 678 AD. For 4 long years, Arab forces had laid siege to the capital of the Byzantine Empire. Today, the Byzantines risk a daring counterattack and unleash a devastating inferno. Streams of flame shoot out from Byzantine vessels, lighting the water on fire and incinerating the Arab ships. This fearsome weapon came to be known as Greek fire.
Joanna Gillen.
Greek fire was one of the most formidable weapons of its era. Imagine your ship suddenly being engulfed in flames, were almost impossible to extinguish. Not only was there this immense physical danger, but there was also a massive psychological impact. The loud roar of the flames, the sight of it, the sound of it, was really enough to put terror into these Arab forces.
At sea, Greek fire was very useful because if there's something a mariner really has a fear of, it's being set light to on a ship because there's nowhere to go. And so Greek fire had a terrifying aspect to it, setting light to ships and burning people.
Throughout the Middle Ages, the Byzantine Empire used Greek fire to strike fear into the hearts of fighting men. But how did the Byzantines develop such a powerful weapon of mass destruction?
Stephen Westblood.
Greek fire acquired its name simply because the Byzantines so too. It was quite mysterious because it was very quickly established as a state secret of the Byzantine Empire. So we don't have a really good, clear idea of what its constituents were or precisely how it operated. But we do know that it was a very effective weapons system.
A ship burns at night.
While the exact formula of Greek fire may be lost to history, experts have proposed several theories regarding the composition of this fiery concoction.
Most scholars agree that the basic constituent materials were probably the naphtha provided the flammability, and the pine resin thickened the substance and caused it to burn longer once it had been ignited.
The secret to Greek fire being used on water is probably the addition of quicklime, which likely gave it an explosive quality that allowed it to burn and have much more damage on water. And also water played a role in perpetuating the reaction and causing the burning effect.
There's certainly speculation as to the different recipes for Greek fire, but it would be very difficult to say what the classic Greek fire actually is. And nobody has actually recreated it with perfect accuracy.
It seems that, just as the Byzantines intended, the mystery of Greek fire remains to be solved. But there's another enigmatic weapon from antiquity that experts can examine more closely because its secrets are preserved in steel. Antioch, 1098 AD. For 80 months, European Crusader knights on a quest to conquer the Holy Land lay siege to this Middle Eastern city. In the course of the bloody fighting, the Crusaders encountered numerous Muslim warriors who wield astonishing razor-sharp swords that are forged from steel that seems to be unbreakable. The European invaders named these fearsome weapons after a nearby city, and thus the blades became known as Damascus swords.
For the time, the properties of the Damascus blade bordered on the edge of magic. Damascus swords had extraordinary legendary performance because of their sharpness compared to some of the materials at the time. They were 10 times as hard on the edge. They were also highly superplastic, meaning that they could bend extremely and still spring back into the original shape. And this was something that was observed by the cuts sticking out in the middle of the air. For anyone who is in a fight against a Damascus blade, the behavior of that blade would have been mind-blowing to observe.
More than 500 years after the end of the Crusades, the remarkable properties of Damascus swords continue. What made these ancient blades so exceptionally strong and flexible? And how were they created? Curiously, the answer can be found not in the city in India.
In southern India, they developed the steel that was used eventually to make Damascus swords and blades. The legends of Indian steel go back to ancient times.
Okay.
Over time, via trade routes around the Arabian Sea, the Indians were able to move those materials into Persia, and that became the center of trade from which Indian steel got distributed to the rest of the world.
It's fascinating to think that the legendary Damascus swords trace their origins back to India. But how did Indian craftsmen create such incredible steel? What did they know that the rest of the world didn't?
One of the keys to making high quality steel is getting the material to be very hot, typically thousands of degrees. This was very difficult in ancient times. But in India, they had developed technologies where they were able to use monsoon winds to fuel these fires and get them to very high temperatures.
The idea that the strength of Damascus swords was forged from intense flames of Indian fires is intriguing. But it doesn't completely solve the mystery. Because even with today's powerful furnaces, experts still cannot precisely recreate Damascus swords. And according to one theory, the secret may lie in the raw material Indian craftsmen used to fashion their steel.
Iron ores vary tremendously from place to place. No two ores are exactly alike. One theory is that there's just to be an iron ore with just the right chemical properties that happen to be available in India and it's a real basis for the very high quality steel that is produced from that material.
The secret to Damascus steel is lost is that the ore sources are known. And so they can't know the individual elements that were in those iron ores. There is no way for us to go back in and recreate the magic that they have done with those original swords.
While we may never know how ancient alchemists created inextinguishable flames or unbreakable swords, we do know that these extraordinary weapons just peak into the hearts of their enemies. But not all ancient technology was designed to be used for battle. Think of the espionage. A knife that appeared to be merely a small cold shell, but it may have actually been the world's first weapon.
When arthritis pain makes the stairs feel like a summit, there's Tylenol arthritis with 2 layers of pain relief. When it's fast,